Hey everyone, slight programming change. This was originally going to be a single episode, but it went pretty long, and Marcus had to schedule a different session due to a scheduling conflict. So that will be the next episode, will be our time with Marcus. In the meantime, I'd like to also please take a look at the show notes. I've got a link to a GoFundMe for our own Citizen Turtle. You might know him as the Citizen Brick Collector with the large pearl gold collection. He and his family have been through some things in recent times and fallen on some medical bills, and I want to make sure that I get the word out as much as possible. You can send him $1, $5, $1 billion. Every little bit helps. There'll be a link to the GoFundMe in the show notes. That being said, this is a great episode. A lot of whining, a lot of complaining, but it's all in good fun. And let's just get to it.
Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing. Bring me the next shiny new thing.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Big Bad Figcast. I'm your host Brett, also known as Geek Over 40, and today's episode is actually a special one, as I have 4 co-hosts with me today instead of the usual 1 or 2. It's almost a full party, but unfortunately, our evening is Marcus's morning, and he's heading to work. So we'll find his inputs later in the episode, and we'll get called as we could call with him separately. Now, what could bring us all together at the same time? We're pissed. We're pissed. We're angry, and we're not going to take it anymore. This is the first of our rant series that will pop up on occasion when we go over the things that chaps are plastic. There'll be no script, no rules, just pure complaints about our first world problems. So before we get started, this is also a special episode because we have Zach, aka Minifigure Falks from Instagram, joining us. He has been a longtime co-host, but this is his first episode actually joining us. So Zach, if you can just go ahead and introduce yourself and who you are, how long you've been collecting, what you're into, the usual.
Sure. Yeah, so I guess I looked back and I started collecting probably right before March of the pandemic. And I don't know, I was always collecting on and off, but like that time is when I started getting into like overseas customs. I remember getting the PCB in-game Thor on tier 1 randomly in the middle of the night. I was just in a black hole of custom Lego minifigures that I had not known existed. And I just found that it had just gone up for sale. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is $100. There's no way I could spend $100 on a minifigure. I didn't know that it was like going to be a hot seller or anything, but that was kind of like the break into that. And before that, I collected just very few stuff, like Phoenix Custom here and there. I think like with the homemade suit, and then with like Citizen Brick stuff, I think I remember, just as far as that goes, like the Louis C.K. figure. That was like one of the first ones I remember really being like, oh, this is a cool figure that I want to keep for a long time. And then he turned out to be a piece of shit. So so that I think I traded that back to Joe at a Brick World years later. And I think he sold it for a lot more. He traded me like a figure set. I forget what it was, but yeah.
So you're actually a unique collector. In fact, you used to be like really deep in the rabbit hole with hero customs, and then you started scaling back, and you started getting CB, and then you started treating superhero customs like they were CB. Do you want to talk about that for a quick sec?
Yeah, I was like dancing in my apartment, which I love to dance, and yeah, my whole case of figures crashed. Like all my that in-game Thor that was in there, along with a lot of other expensive superhero customs, and I just felt so silly. But damn, I was having the most fun dancing in my apartment. So I cleaned it all up and was like, well, maybe I'll move on to something else. And Citizen Brick was like, maybe I'll just return to that, collect more of that. And I had all that superhero stuff left over. So I started just mashing up combos with that and having a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with customs lately.
I feel like you're probably having the most fun out of anybody. We're all stressed out, pissed off, facing burnout, doing episodes on FOMO, and you're like, hey, check out, I just made Black Widow from What If, combining like these 7 customs together, and and you're doing all these great things, and then you're selling them on the Geek Exchange as sets, like the Captain America stealth with the bike. That was really cool.
I did. I sold some like sets like that. I just thought it would be cool to give someone a piece of that. Just saying like, oh, I took the time to put all these together. They may not necessarily get there, but if they want a part of that, they like think it's cool enough to put in their collection, I think that take it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think you're like truly free. Where some folks are like unboxing with gloves, or we put them in our wicked brick cases, and we're like, look but don't touch, hide them from the kids or whatever. And you're like, well, I'm gonna take this shit apart and I'm gonna put this
Oh
head
yeah,
here.
as soon as I get it in, I'm just taking all the arms off. I'm taking every piece of it apart to see how they did it, or see what's going on. And yeah, that like abnormal kingpin and Biggie mini bigs, Biggie smalls.
Oh, that was awesome.
Like one of the greatest parts ever,
man. And when I put that together, I was like, no way, this just looks too good. And in what world would I have those two figs at the same time? It's kind of like moments in time like that. I collect these figures and I just kind of see what I have at the time. Sometimes I just don't have something and I'm like, okay, well that would be cool, but I don't have it. So
and what's funny is I'm sorry to interrupt, but what's funny, you brought up a good point about the smashing up, and when you made that, Abnormal even shared it. And you took apart their fig. Yeah, no, they shared it to their story. And I'm finding more and more brands, I thought they'd be more protective of their vision of their designs, like, oh, you're messing with our vision. But like Adam himself had said on the podcast, no, it's great. I love it when people try to do things. Now I've got my own version of how I thought it should look, but I never want to get in the way of other people trying new things. So I think as long as you're enjoying the product, they got their money. As long as you're enjoying the product, I think they don't care. So that's pretty cool.
Sket does a great job with that, making those figs his own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. So Phil, Nick, Kerry, say hi.
Hey.
Hi.
So normally, well, I'm very big on the way I plan these episodes. I do a lot of forethought, but this time I'm going to let it all fly off the handle, and what happens. So we're going to start with you, Phil. Your subject was so many damn customs with all the increasing prices. Can you expand on that?
Yep, absolutely. It's just getting crazy at the moment, to be honest with you. There's just so many figures being released now. You've got, even like we've discussed in previous podcasts, you try and focus on a brand. Even doing that these days is getting more difficult now. You've got some brands that are releasing maybe 3 or 4 figs a month sometimes. And with everything going on, cost of living, increasing, the figs are increasing too. And I won't name any brands, but obviously we all saw recently a certain figure got announced, and it was $180 for a figure. That's one fig. You think about it, when you've got tens of figs being released on a monthly basis, $180 for one is just insane, really. Me personally, it just makes me feel, you're going to have to miss out. You can't possibly keep up with it. Well, not unless you're incredibly lucky. For me, it makes me feel a bit like a failure. There's lots of reasons to have life regrets. Not doing well enough in school or having a good enough job. You never thought one of the reasons for that would be that I can't buy enough plastic figures, as a grown adult. But yeah, it's just getting crazy at the moment, and it just makes you feel a little bit burnt out after a while.
I can't tell you you're wrong, because it is getting crazy, and it's actually becoming more of a turnoff. I want to buy less because I'm just getting so pissed off that, folks, I understand they're excited to make some of these brands are very excited and they're passionate, and they just want to build that library of their own creation.
Oh yeah, you can't fault them for that, can you? At the end of the day, they're all brands, they're all trying to survive.
And they're not making as much money as everyone's like thinking they're making. A lot of them are just trying to get by and just fund the fig so they can get it made. So I don't want to hear this, well, they're just all fucking greedy. I do think the higher prices, some of them are a bit predatory. I do feel that that's becoming a situation. But I also, without knowing what's going on inflation-wise overseas with the cost of materials and molds and plastics, that we could be witnessing the end of a domino effect. I'm not going to I don't want to invalidate anyone's feelings on this podcast. The prices are what they are, but I think there could possibly be something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Being that my ass is in America, I don't know what's going on in Chinese factories, but it's something's got to give. And right now, it's my wallet. I can't do it anymore. Not this
Yeah.
rate.
I'm finding that I'm sort of forcing myself to miss out on a couple of things just to sort of practice the FOMO, get
Yeah.
used to it, desensitized. But what keeps going over in my head over and over is that meme from Bridesmaids, the help me, I'm poor. It's always there in the back of my mind lately.
Kerry, what do you Joe just recently with CB just recently announced the changes to how CBD is going to operate, and we've had a record number of original figs come out this year, and more only in early May. Do you feel that what Phil's talking about lends itself also to what CB's doing, like just too many figs coming out? I ask you specifically because you've been diving into Mr. J and some of the superhero stuff as well. So now you have to kind of figure out that balance.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard because it also with my lame ass Canadian dollar, buying like 5 figs. Unfortunately, I end up liking them all, so then I want to buy each one that comes out. It's getting a lot. It's getting to be like way too much for me as well. And then, yeah, it's the same thing with Mr. J. Like he was kind of doing smaller releases and like less frequent. And now I'm finding it's like every time I wake up, it's like he's got something new out, and I'm like, shit. But yeah, I'm in the same rant category as Phil on this one, for sure.
What about you, Nick?
There's so many drops. It seems like every weekend 3 brands are doing drops. CB, I guess less so because the quantities are so large in their production runs now that I don't fear that like if I miss something, I'm gonna have to pay 4x what the retail price was. So I feel okay missing out on those if I'm not loving it at the time. Whereas like the superheroes, I feel like if I miss it, I'm gonna have to pay double or triple, which with the prices right now is gonna be astronomical. So I'm almost afraid to miss something and regret it later.
Oh yeah, there's stuff still on the website from the last drop, and it's already on eBay for like 4 times as much. And like, guys, just take a breath, think about it. Zach, as someone who we just mentioned earlier is kind of spiritually free in this matter, do you have any thoughts on it? Because I don't know what your rules are or what your goals are. I know you have a few outstanding reservations with some resellers that you're waiting to cycle through, but I mean, I don't really even know what you're picking up lately.
Yeah, I just picked up that Gin Lizard figure. I thought that was pretty innovative design. I just kind of want to see how that came out. And that was a pretty heavy ticket price on that, but I understand why. Yeah, as far as other pre-orders, they're trickling away. I'm not certain. I've definitely practiced. Like Phil was saying, I've practiced just reserving something because I think I'll miss it. That was hard for a while, but that's passed. And then, yeah, it just seems like there's just so much. It's so saturated. And then even official Lego. I mean, I just have spent so much on Bricklink in general. Just
trying for your mocks,
yeah, just getting like hair pieces or little or just molds and stuff for figures here and there. Or just getting like odd parts that are not usually for minifigures and just seeing what I could do with them. So a lot of my money went there, surprisingly, to Bricklink. But the customs are crazy. It's way too much, and it's getting harder to just pay a bill. So you have to make choices.
The one single piece of this podcast that I've taken with me almost every single day since it was recorded was Phil. When you made your comment on the FOMO episode about if you already have a fig in your collection on your shelf that's perfectly serviceable, you're not missing anything by trying. You don't need to go after the next one just because it's the new one. And regarding like a different version of the same character or whatever. And I really think I still think about that all the time. There have been a couple of things to it. Yeah, there have been a couple of things that have come out that I'm just like, you know what? I'm happy with what I got. But I mean, I have cycled out most of like my old Dragon Brick type stuff, because I know there's other stuff coming. from like Lifebrick, like the Stealth Steve Rogers from Winter Soldier. It's it's getting to a point, and I've kind of been working my way into a system where I'm selling figs to pay for new figs, which has helped out a lot. But I'm over the panic of waking up every morning saying what new thing got announced. I just can't do anymore. That's why more than ever I'm glad I'm not collecting Star Wars figs, because y'all got hosed on May the 4th. Holy shit. And there's more getting announced since. I feel for you.
The Star Wars thing has been crazy. Originally, I was collecting that just because I thought it was a safe thing. There weren't a ton of releases coming out. Now that people have shifted their focus from Marvel, it's like Star Wars is blown up.
Well, we're gonna save that rant for when Marcus is on, because that's his point of contention.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, with Spider-Verse coming up, good lord. I'm not
Yeah, how you
looking forward
feeling?
to. I'll probably abandon all other interests and just focus on collecting the Spider-Verse figs. I'll just get the rest later.
I feel like I heard you just get punched in the gut.
Oh yeah, well that I'm also eating these gourmet gummy bears that are really good that I got from a work event yesterday.
Man,
So I
I
should
think
not
when
be
No
eating
Way
gummy
Home
bears
came
on a
out,
microphone. It's probably gonna sound terrible. But
we were all watching as you had to deal with the No Way Home.
oh god, I'm still dealing with
Dropping
No
it.
Way Home. I'm just glad I'm not chasing old Spideys anymore. I'm all caught up.
Hey,
So
congrats.
thank you.
I said the other day, didn't I? I'm at the point now where I literally do not ever want to see Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire's faces ever again. I'm sick of them.
I got my
Can't imagine how you feel.
oh, so this leads into Nick's thing we'll talk about in a second, but I got my life brick Tobey Maguire Spidey's in. Not the symbiote yet. I'm still waiting on that one. I got him in. There's all this hype. Everyone was worried about. They were selling out so fast. I got him the way I got him. I usually get him. And I get him. It came in a package with like 5 other figs. They were the last 2 I opened. I just didn't care. I was looking at this Chainsaw Man Makima fig I got, and this other Chainsaw Man Denji fig I got, and then there's something else that came with that day, and I was like, oh yeah, I got the Spideys too. I opened them up. I'm like, oh yeah, these are really good. Print quality's great. Yeah, no flaws. Great. I'll put them on the shelf. Done. And I'm just so sick of No Way Home. It's gonna be another year before I can watch the movie again, and I'm just so tired of it. I want new original Spideys that no one has done before. Even Lifebricks renewed. Renewed interest in doing Spidey's. I know he's doing Fantastic Four, Spidey, and Bombastic Bagman. I'm like, well, I've already got the ones by Triangle and Christo and Crystal minifigs. Granted, not everybody does, so it's a cool opportunity for new collectors to get some. So I respect that. But I'm just like, just give me some new stuff, not the same old, same old.
That's what I'm afraid of, is all the
I'm
new
still
stuff
buying
that's
them.
gonna come. Yeah.
I'm still buying. I think Lightbrick does a phenomenal job with their prints. So I know they're going to be great. But yeah,
720 degrees printing. 720 degrees.
It reminds me of the Tony Hawk game.
The old
when he
1080.
was going for the 1080. Yeah, that's next.
Yeah, I'm afraid for the new Spider-Verse, we're going to get a rash of people doing Miles figs, Gwen figs, and 2099 figs. And that's it. But speaking of Spideys and Burnout, Nick, when you submitted a theme for this episode, you just said Burnout. So go for it.
Well, perfect transition, because actually, I was at a point where I'm almost done with my No Way Home collection, and then I thought, oh shit, Spider-Verse is coming out, and I've had seen the finish line, the light at the end of the tunnel, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to start all over again. And this has been brutal trying to get it, because there were a couple that I passed on, and then I realized I do want to have everything. So I got the Jaka Green Goblin. I just got, still need the PCB Doc Ock, but I got the Mini Gazer one, so close. And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to do it all over again. And I love Spider-Verse. It's my favorite movie, so I know I'm gonna be all in on that. And then I was just like, what am I doing with my life?
This is how you started collecting too, with Spidey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially Spider-Verse was my first love, man. So I'm gonna have to be all in on it, but I'm just kind of not looking forward to it, I guess. Just, I think with the amount of releases and the amount of people doing the same figure and wanting to have the best version, so I'm getting them all and then trying to sell the one, but none of them are out yet. So it's just like, so much invested and hoping for a payoff. Yeah, I'm just burnt out, man.
Yeah, I'm tired of seeing people burnt out. There's a lot of folks that have stopped posting on Instagram. And this is actually, I've also noticed this not just in Lego, but in the act. I follow a lot of action figure photographers because not well, one, they're inspiring, and two, they're just phenomenal artists and good people. But I'm seeing a lot of them that if they've moved on, they're just like, they're posting screenshots using camera mode from video games, or they're just tired because like they couldn't keep up with the releases as well in that regard for the action figures. And they're like, I guess they got tired of recycling the same couple of figures all the time, and they just decide to move on. I mean, hey, you're not obligated to, to do this for anybody, but it's sad when there were some very talented folks that felt overwhelmed with trying to keep up with the hobby. There's that pressure to stay current, and I gotta say that's one thing I'm proud of myself for is I've never felt the need to chase the most popular thing. Like if a new movie gets announced, I don't feel the need to do a bunch of posts about that movie or about that MCU rumor or recreate posters or something. I'm not. There's no dig on those who do. I mean, some of them that do a phenomenal job. It's just not my bag. I'd rather keep walking my own path. And that this Freddy series I've been doing lately, I really didn't realize how I was getting burnt out for a while. And this Freddy series that I'm doing has reignited my flame because it's forcing me to do things differently and think differently. I'm doing more mocks and practical effects rather than digital. For me, burning out right now has been about trying to like get that latest custom, then trying to think of what I want to do with it, and then I realize I'm not trying to prove myself that hey, look, I got that new Harley Quinn too. I don't have the energy for it because to keep up like that, I would have to increase my output, which means I would have to lower my quality. I'd rather do some really kick-ass posts like 3-4 times a month with the figs that I'm enjoying rather than what the latest and greatest fig is, and I'll just I guess do an occasional collection video or something so people can see what I have. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Those Freddy posts are so cool. That's
So
just a
good.
compliment.
I appreciate it. It's really made me think outside the box on a lot of things. And the next one will be out before this episode airs, but it'll be Freddy vs. Jason. And
Sweet.
I had an original idea, and then I rewatched the movie last night. We'll see.
On that note, I mean, you may as well keep going and do a photo shoot with the new Michael Myers that Mini Bigs
Hey.
printed.
I need to wait for it to arrive. I'm part of the second wave because I missed the first wave. I was caught up in the Geek Exchange and I missed it. Oh, well, I just got a Leatherface in from a CB Leatherface in. So, I mean, that's going to be fun. I don't want to talk about the plans I have for that because they may not be done before this episode airs, but that's going to be some original shit. Kerry, you saw a preview. Actually, I think everyone here's seen a preview of me screwing around with it, but I'm going to have some fun with that thing.
It's cool. It looks like you're having fun and really inspired, which I'd love to see.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm just so my brain is so wired to like not want to take the things apart and just keep them as is. And I gotta let that go so I can start doing more funky shit.
Yeah, you're becoming free like Zach, man.
I know.
I'm not that free. I'm still fretting over here over the next release or whatever comes our way. I mean, even just like this, I'm sitting here just touting official Lego, but that Lego Dreams line looks so fun.
Oh my
so
gosh.
good.
It does.
Man.
Oh well, so speaking of so leading into burnout, some folks don't have to worry about their budget. Some folks they don't get burnt out because they're only focused on recycling and reselling things they buy. Kerry, did you want to go over your thing that you're pissed about?
Oh, you got all night?
Well, let me sum it up. Let me give you the cliff notes. Kerry, you submitted overbuying with the intention to sell at a higher price. That was the thing you wanted to bitch about.
Yeah. I guess I don't really know where to start with that. I understand, like we all do it. We buy something and then we tire of it. So then we sell it and the value has gone up. So my thing is like, why are people buying like, say, 10 Citizen Brick figures and then, you know, it sells out and then boom, here they all are. And they're just, I guess, yeah, they're just flipping them. And there's tons of collectors out there who are trying to get it. And now they have to pay like way more because one person, well, not one person, but multiple people are like just buying like a whole bunch of stock. And then it's like funding their own collection, like their need to keep buying, but it's just like, I don't understand.
It makes you wonder, the money you spend on the extra stock that you wish to sell, the time, energy, all of that, you know, whether you're doing it through DMs or auctions or whatever, Facebook, whatever, is it worth the energy? Do you really make that much money that it makes it worth it? I mean, let me caveat that. And the disdain you get from the collectors that know you're doing it, and souring your relationships with those people, does it make it worth it just because you decide to buy like 40 torsos, knowing you're only going to really need 2 for yourself?
Right. And I will say that I find now with the higher quantities that you can buy from, sorry, the higher quantities available to buy from Citizen Brick, the resale market is like quite, it's hard. Like you can't, you can't go and sell it when it sells out for like $100. Like people aren't really buying like that anymore. But then the people are still buying up all the stock to do that. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
So
What I'm
you're, so
saying?
you're saying the quantity's been increased to the point where there's no real stress to get it, but people are still buying it like it's limited and selling it like it's limited.
Yeah, like, and I remember last year, Citizen Brick Day, not like the misprint figures, but like the standard stuff. There's like a few people on eBay, like, and everyone knows it's like they just go and they buy and then they pop it on eBay for like double as much. And I'm like, are you really making money on that? Because you're paying all your fees.
Right, your
And
fees,
like
your
I just don't really understand how you're making money at
I
that
just
point.
even if you're making like even if you okay, so if real low numbers, let's keep this simple. If it's a $5 fig, you sell it for $10, but your fees are going to be like 20-30%. So, and then, you know, say you cover shipping in the cost to the buyer. So yeah, I mean, what is the percentage you're really making off those things? And then there's just all the hassle of buying, sorting, coordinating, DMs, dealing with those who may occasionally try to, you know, rip you off with a claim saying you didn't ship, PayPal disputes. I mean, I just then you got to make your post saying you're advertising it or join my auction or bid on this post or however method you're using to sell. I just feel like it's just so much fucking work. You know,
Yeah.
I would just take all that time and energy to like enjoy what I have and spend it on more stuff that I want for myself. But teach their own. Yeah, no, I think it's a valid complaint. I don't think we can do anything, you know, to change it. But I think with Joe's increased quantity, I think, like you said, I think the market's making it harder for those people just not to survive.
See, I hate that so much though, because that is just a horrible introduction to the hobby. It's like it just starts off with sour grapes, you know. And that person's probably not gonna like jump into collecting, which really is a bummer.
Or like you said, no, it sets a bad precedent because then they come in thinking it's always going to be that way, and then it's like they repeat the cycle. You got the new stuff coming from like LCM Bagels, right? LCM is like, hey, we're gonna lift this artist up, and we're gonna do a cool initiative to let young artists or, you know, just let Lego artists get their stuff made into a material item that people can buy. That's an awesome idea. But then what happens? These collectors come in with this idea that this is how it's supposed to be, and they start buying them up and selling them at 400%, 500. I mean, oh my god! So a buddy of mine, I'm not going to say who, sold a Vader for $400, or no, 350. They thought they were being fair for 350. because in the superhero world, 400's like really pushing it. So 350, he knew it's a hot item, he sold it. Dude was told he's an idiot. He should have gone to the Discord and sold it for 700. It's ridiculous.
Mm-mm.
Even the Christo Fantastic Four Spider-Man is only going to go for like 500, 600 max, and that's if you find the right buyer. And I think Rex has got it on their site for like 1100 right now, which that's not going to sell. And now that Lifebrick's coming out with one, that Christo value is really going to drop. But yeah, they come in thinking this is what it's supposed to be like. This is how it was done to me, so now I have to do it to everybody else, and that's horrible. But yeah.
Sometimes the lineage is fun if you follow it. Like, I think the Peter Kid, the Donut Peter Kid. Like, I think I bought that from Nick, and then like MFG just bought that from me. So,
oh, cool.
It's kind of fun, like to see who's gonna have that fig next, and he's a good collector, so he'll probably do something fun with it. And I had a lot of fun with it. Just fun to pass it off to a new home and see what somebody can do with something. That's always fun.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that as well. The history of a fig is cool, isn't it? Thinking where it's been. Some of these figs, they've literally traveled all over the world. It's amazing, isn't it, when you think about it?
It's almost like they should have a library card that you can like write the owner's name in, and then just pass the card along with the fig when you sell it. And you just,
I love that.
That'd be an awesome idea.
Oh my gosh, MFJ. Sorry, I said MFG Customs. That was MFJ.
I was going to say, Brett, I don't know if you remember, you were very new to our sort of group chat when this was first brought up, but I had this idea a long time ago for a community fig. So it's a fig that we basically, a bunch of us would band together to buy, and then we would basically send it on, and everyone's got to take a picture with it, and then pass it on to the next person.
I think within our group chat, we don't really pass figs around, we pass boxes around.
That's so true.
It's a brick box. And people will just put a different label on top and then tape it down, and then I get it. I look under the label, it's to me, but then it was originally to like Sket, and then it was originally to like Dash, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna turn this box inside out and repackage it, and then I'm gonna send it to Nick. So we definitely recycle our boxes a lot.
And the post office wins every time.
Every time. Kerry, going back to your comments, yeah, the overbuying, I don't see the point. Like someone once told me, I buy extra so that somebody who misses out on the sale can get it later. And my thought was, well, if it was still on the site, they could just buy it themselves.
That's true.
That's a tough one, because sometimes I'll get two for myself and then somebody will inevitably miss one. I'll send it their way, but
that's different. I mean, I've bought two before because I wanted to display them different ways. And then someone who I knew was a real fan of that character, I'm like, you know what? I don't need it. Go ahead.
No, but it definitely feels like sometimes seeing the amount of friends that miss stuff, either because they're in a different time zone and didn't wake up, makes me want to buy 6 just so that I can be the guy who helps out. And the other thing I was thinking is, like, since everybody's overbuying to flip, it's put me into a position where I don't even have time to think about what colors or what things I want. Like, say for a Citizen Brick, like a torso drop, right? I've learned to just buy as much as I can and figure out if I like it later, only because if you wait more than a minute, it's gone. So I don't even want to play that game, but I feel like we're all forced to play it just because of the scalpers. Well,
what I did for the last CB drop, and for frame of reference, folks, this is the drop that had the Black Panther advocate, the Hooters girl, etc. I followed Citizen Brick's Instagram, and every time they posted a preview, I made note of what they showed, and we were fortunate. They showed like all the parts and all the colors. I just basically took screenshots and threw it into a PowerPoint and circled the ones I wanted and made a list. So I was able to go in, hit the drop downs, direct exactly what I wanted, and then get out. I know that's not always an option with, like, say, Mini Bigs or Truid or those types of companies, but that I think helped me a lot this time.
Seeing all the colors in advance was really cool.
Yeah, it really was. And it's cool if you know it's going to be available. But all right, so too many damn customs with increasing prices, burning us out, and people are overbuying with the intention of selling at a higher price. Zach, what chaps your plastic?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because it is overdone characters for me. I just think we have had one too many Iron Men for a long time, and I don't know. But you know what? No one's even really making, like, are they making? What's the last Iron Man that came out? Like a for
Last Iron Man
real?
come out were
Yeah.
Nostalgia's classic Iron Man and Jin's classic Iron Man.
Okay, so yeah, they're still coming out.
TMB, Top Mountain is still doing the Hall of Armor.
Oh, let's just say anytime that somebody releases a fig or a render or a teaser, and then all of a sudden somebody else has a render up, and you see it back to back, and it's like, wait, was this? I thought somebody else had a release or a teaser earlier. What's going on here? Like, I just wish that people could figure out how to make what they want to make, and not just. I mean, I get people are just making stuff. You just have all these projects you're working on at any given moment, and whatever you decide to release is you're showing people, okay, this is where I am with it. But it's because somebody else released something, seeing where they are with, or they're ready for the release, doesn't mean you should show them like where you are with something, or that you've got something in the canon. And it's just, I don't know. That's not maybe a different rant, but that's part of like the overdone characters. Just make whatever you want to make and release it whenever it's time and you feel like it's ready to go. You can have as many different projects as you want at any given moment. You don't have to finish that one completely and then go on to the next and finish that 100% and then go on to the next. Everything's always up in the air. Right. We're just kind of playing with it. So that's just creativity things, but I don't know.
I get it. I'm
pissed about it.
Yeah, no. No, I get it, because you're like, and I mean, there's the obvious ones, like everyone's going to make a Wanda when Multiverse of Madness came out, right? That everyone, second that was announced, everyone was getting on, looking for research photos. Again, mainstream popular character, I'm not surprised. But sometimes there's some niche characters you're like, all right, don't tell me you were thinking about this one too at the exact same time. I mean, I think these things don't get created overnight, right? They don't just whip up a design within 12 hours of somebody else debuting their pre-order. So they probably did have it in the hopper for some time. But I think everyone's learned that, the way these customs are sold, they're in limited quantities. People are going to miss out, and you'll be okay releasing your version later. It'll be all right.
You will be okay. It's like, okay, you see what they did, and then take note and do the next project. And if you really are passionate about it, then release it. Somebody's going to dig your design, or they're going to think that that's the one that they want over this one even. But let that brand, or let the let them have their heyday.
Let's talk about it. She-Hulk, Daredevil.
Okay. Yeah.
How many brands are making Daredevil? And it's every brand is fully entitled to make whatever character they want. Because again, they want to have. You got to remember, brands are not building these things. This is going to sound horrible at first. Just hear me out. They're not building it for you, the collector, right? They're building their universe of their characters. Okay. They're not building you one figure in hopes that you're going to match with a fig for another brand. They're building their own internal universe of figs. Our hope as collectors is that they look good together. When you have this menagerie of different brand figs together, they look good. That's why Phoenix Customs, per se, is so popular, is because you can mirror that with, you can mix in a Phoenix Custom fig with a Lego collection or a custom collection, right? Kind of rides the fence in an excellent fashion. Whereas if you got like Minifigs Factory, very intricate molds and details, doing their Lord of the Rings stuff, or Chainsaw Man, or whatever, or all their other anime, fantasy, Chinese historical stuff, they're not building that hoping that it looks good next to your abnormal figure or your Jocko figure. They're doing it for their internal things. So when they design a Wanda, it's going to be in their style, right? So I understand why they're doing their version, because they have their own nuanced ways they feel it should be portrayed. It's really up to the buyer to say, well, I really like this about Jocko, but I don't like this. I really like this about PCB, but this part, I wish, going back to earlier, I wish you did side prints or whatever. Or, this one doesn't come with any weapons. I really feel it should have weapons. This brand by Abnormal is going to come with a lot of accessories. So I really think the complaint is valid, but I also think we as collectors need to step off the hype, our own hype train that we build up in ourselves, and pause and think back to, like, say, the FOMO episode, and decide, okay, if a brand was to make this character, who do I think would do that character justice in the way that in their style, I think makes that character look best? I'm just going to hold out until they do it, or I'm going to DM them, say, "Hey, do you have any intentions of doing this?" And they might give you some direction, because the reality is every fig's going to sell regardless. I don't know of any fig that's having trouble selling right now. That's a mainstream character. All those Daredevils sold out. You know, who did Daredevil? We had Jaka, we had Crosscheck and Chin, Life Brick. Who else? You think of anyone else off the top of our head? I
A
don't
few
know.
of those were
No.
collabs, though, weren't they? So I think it seems like more brands were involved.
Yeah, they were collabs because it was Jin and Crosscheck, Life Brick and Abnormal, and then Life Brick and Abnormals. That wasn't the She-Hulk one. Life Brick did their independent Daredevil. But my point being is, y'all know what level of details are going to come with these brands. You know whose face designs you're going to prefer. And unless you're in a situation where you're in a financial situation where you can say, you know what, I'm just going to buy one of all of them and take the best of everything. You know, like you said, Phil, get used to FOMO and just say, I'm just going to wait for this one to come out. Or this is my first choice, this is my second choice, this is my third choice.
To that point, I think it'd be cool for brands to launch or to release like here's the next year of what I've got planned, almost like MCU phases. I don't know if that, I know some have done that, and I know that there's probably some competitive restrictions in terms of wanting to tease that. But if you really are loyal to a brand and want to know what's going to come out, I would definitely wait for certain brands if I knew it was coming. But there's definitely been times I bought something just because I thought this is the only one that's going to be out, and then of course a week later the brand I wanted to announced it.
Yeah, there's been definite issues in the past where brands have teased, and so say you have two brands in competition with each other. One is at about a 60% design solution, and they decide to tease it, but then you have this other one that's like a 90%. They'll just like, fuck it, pre-order, just trying to beat them to the punch. So I can see the reservations and not wanting to reveal too much. But yeah, having a roadmap would be great. Almost like the way Jaka said, we're doing this Age of Ultron line, we're doing this Justice League line. I think that's great.
Exactly.
Crosscheck, we're doing the Fox X-Men line. I think that's awesome because you're going to want to set that matches, right? I think once you buy in one, you're going to buy in on all of them because you're going to want them all to look the same, or at least aesthetically look the same. So I think that's great. But maybe for one-offs, I'm not sure that'll ever happen. Hey everyone, sorry for the interruption, but a quick disclaimer. This episode was recorded well before anyone said they were going to make Guardians of the Galaxy figs. So I stand corrected. And thank you, Jaka, Abnormal, and all those others who are stepping up and finally making the dream come true. All right, back to the show. But if someone said, hey, we're doing the Guardians, hallelujah, someone's finally doing the fucking Guardians, I'll tell you right now, that's going to sell like crazy, and I'll be the first one in line, and I'll buy the entire set.
That's a long time coming on whoever decides to take that up.
There's my rant. That's what pisses me off for this episode. Nobody's done the goddamn Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I just want a Guardians set that doesn't suck. So I think that kind of goes through our whole list. Anybody else got anything?
I just want to say that I'm sitting here and I'm looking out my window and somebody walked by wearing a Dare sweater, like the Mini Bigs Dare torso. And if you guys don't have one, you should get one because they're pretty cool. And now I want a sweater, so.
All right. Well, again, so like I said, this was a non-scripted episode, but it was a lot of fun. And,
it was a lot of fun.
I'm sorry. I'm literally tired. I got out of Guardians last night at 2:30. I got home from Guardians last night at 2 a.m.
Yeah, you're a champion.
And I got up and I did house cleaning all day, so I am beat. So what we'll do now, we'll just close this out and say thank you everyone for coming on board to vent. So that being said, we'll just go ahead and sign off. Everyone say bye.
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 I want you on my rack. I want to make you ring. I want you to me the next